So, can you tell me a little bit about your work with fascia and flow systems? And for people who are new to this, like what that even means?
Yeah, fascia I feel like is very much overlooked. Think of it as your internal skin. It's a connective tissue layering. It's very thin and it literally stretches from head to toe over everything: blood vessels, bones, organs, endocrine glands. It is a matrix of connectivity and it's filled with nerve endings. So it's very much alive. And it actually has a liquid crystal matrix that runs through these layers. And that liquid crystal matrix is so important. It's almost like it's like its spark, its energy source. And what the unique thing about fascia, this is what happens is when it gets tight, and it usually tightens under stress, um, you then get a blockage in your flow systems. Flow systems would be blood, nerve, and lymph.
Hmm.
And really, that's the start of all illness, is when there's stagnation in the flow. So I'm looking at the fascia as a way to keep like opening up the floodgates, opening up all of this matrix that we have inside of us, not just to keep those flow systems open, but to keep emotions moving. The fascia is known to store emotions on an energetic level. One thing that makes fascia interesting is that it will spiral and wrap itself around a bone. You choose the bone, right? Let's say it's your clavicle bone, and then that can make your shoulder go up, or one of your vertebrae in your neck, and that can cause impingements on the nerves. So it spirals and wraps around the bone, and then what that does is it pulls the body out of alignment, whether it's muscles, ligaments, tendons. Things go out of alignment because imagine a beautiful satin sheet and you grab the sheet at the top. Watch how all the wrinkles pull in all direction all over the sheet. That's your fascia.
That's a good
So
analogy.
you are affected from head to toe. Maybe more in one place than another, but it doesn't matter because we are a liquid matrix. We are a connective tissue matrix. So um, opening and releasing the fascia is really, I feel, the key to circulation, to nerve messaging, and also toxin drainage. Because once the fascia tightens, you get low blood flow. Well, what does that mean? You're not getting good oxygenation, you're not getting good nutrients, and then you're not also not getting the old stuff moving out. So you get stagnated, and that can make you feel tired. It can actually make you look like you have weight gain, believe it or not. In our abdomen, a lot of time the fascia that's pulling us forward and in and down will create a barrier across the abdomen. If you start moving your fascia and melting this out, that barrier will flatten out.
That's incredible.
So it's incredible. Fascia, you'll feel pain. You can feel pain. Some
Mm.
people don't feel pain until you start to do like some compression on the area. And then it's like, oh, that hurts. Why does that hurt? Right. Well, it's because we're contacting your body. You're not just sitting there unaware.
Hmm.
So go ahead.
No, and how do you see it relate to the nervous system or from an emotional perspective? How have you seen it present?
The body believes the mind. If anyone could just write that down and remember that for the rest of their lives, it's like it's like the key. The body believes the mind.
Yeah, that should be a
So
t-shirt.
yeah, exactly. Let's make one and sell
There you go.
it. The more the whatever you're thinking, whether it's on the negative vibration or the positive vibration, the body hears you, the body believes it. So it begins to follow that trajectory.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing you should know is that every organ, endocrine, and body part has its own consciousness. So let's just say you keep saying to yourself, I am so overburdened. I have this, that, and the third. Everything in my life feels heavy. That kind of talk creates an emotion that usually your shoulders will carry because the consciousness of your shoulders is to carry the burden, to carry the load. And shoulders are happy to do that for you until you start until it becomes too much and then you start talking in a negative fashion about it.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding the mind body connection will help the fascia and help that body part to start to shift its perspective. And if we're talking about emotion specifically, because the fascia has that liquid crystal matrix, it's very easy for the emotion to sort of get caught in that flow. Water and emotion are they really they are each other. And so if the liquid crystal matrix is flowing, then the emotion is flowing. But if it's not, then you can get a stickiness. And emotion is energy. So it will get sticky inside of the fascia. Now you've got a vibration on top of a blockage in, let's say, nerve flow, blood flow, lymphatic drainage.
Did you
It's
just see
the
me
whole
like
thing.
drop my right shoulder? I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah,
feel you.
yeah,
No, I mean,
yeah,
it's amazing how it's all connected. It really is. And
yeah.
what are some tools that you like your go-to tools for fascia and releasing and for creating more flow?
Well, the first one, which everyone should just do and understand, is that fascia should be moving with you. Fascia likes to move. So your basics like yoga, qigong, tai chi, things that move and shift energy, slow dancing, and anything that involves the entire body moving and stretching, that's a simple go-to, for all of us. It doesn't cost anything. We just have to do it. Um, so that's number one. The tool that I like, it's called block therapy. And my link is goblockTherapy.com. Those blocks, thank you to the creator, Deanna Hansen, who's been one of my colleagues, mentors, teachers for years now. Um, they can really release the fascia. You just have to know how to use them. So, like, I do one-on-one sessions with people, and then if they love them, they get the blocks, and then you have a home program that you can do. So I love that because it's your bones are connecting to wood. So energetically, the bone will allow the wood to come in really, really close. Which, if you remember what I said, fascia likes to spin and wrap around a bone. So you have to be able to get really close to the bone to start pulling and releasing the fascia away from that spiraled attachment, let's say. So if you use things like foam rollers and fascia balls, you'll get a nice surface level release, but those things will never go to the bone. Um, and the only way you're going to like believe that and understand that is if you actually try the two techniques for yourself. And you'll realize how your body energetically will pull into that wood and it will let go versus anything synthetic and man made. It's just a big difference versus a superficial level, which I still do. I still do foam rollers, I still use balls, but I don't replace them with the real work, which is the blocks,
I
you
did a
know?
session, everyone, with her, and it was amazing. I've just been so negligent about getting the blocks. So you're reminding me now I need to do it because I really did love it. And as I was saying, I carry the tension in my shoulders, and holy moly, I felt a difference after. I really did.
Yeah, and I'll tell you for exhaustion or anxiety, right? If you're fatigued or anxious, they're one and the same, really, even though anxious feels like you're la 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 la, but you're really exhausted. So when you use the blocks for your neck, there's a whole neck program. It will bring you way, way down. It unwinds you. And if you're fatigued, it kind of brings your energy up. So it's all about your nervous system, and that's what the releasing the fascia from the bone opens up nerve flow, and you get better blood flow to your brain.
Yeah,
So it's a whole package.
I love all of this. And I know too that, you often work with sound and vibration. So why do
Yeah.
you think the nervous system responds to sound before it responds to words?
Okay, so well, that's interesting because I do think it responds to words also.
Mhm.
Um, because our words coming from our voice has a vibration. So it will respond to your words whether they are positive or negative.
Mhm.
So let's say that our voice is part of sound, and we will respond to sound through the brain, through the limbic brain. So the limbic brain is going to adjust itself based on the sounds that it's hearing. And one of the tricks that I've learned, okay, so first let me just say this. Obviously, if it's positive words and beautiful sound, the limbic brain is going to start to feel that higher vibration. It's like a feel good, okay? Like good words, good vibes. Um, when you start to, if you're listening to more negative stuff all of the time, the news, blah, 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 all this negative stuff, your vibration starts to go down.
Mhm.
And the longer you stay in a lower vibration, first of all, the tighter your fascia gets, but the more the nervous system starts to not work for you, right? It now starts to be more in a sympathetic mode, which is a stressed mode. So what you're hearing can calm you, but it can also stress you.
Mhm.
And I'm sure people have experienced that for themselves. You get like, let's say, bad news, and you just feel it in your gut, right? Everything just kind of crumbles. Or you hear good news and you lighten up. So when I decided when I was studying sound, I decided to get into Tibetan sound bowls and gongs and tuning forks, because they all have a way to bring the nervous system into balance, which lets the fascia relax, which lets the emotions go, and then can start to change what I call the brain train. Most people have this tape player that's constantly running. Well, you need sound to break up the the thing that you constantly run,
Mm.
right? So if you have a propensity to constantly brain train in a negative fashion, sound can start to break that pattern up.
Interesting.
So yeah, and I also use sound bowls on the body, and I move them along the body to move lymph, because it's imagine throwing a rock into a pond and you get the ripple effect.
Mhm.
That's what happens when the bowl is on your body and you're playing it. The sound goes down into the body, and it goes through the body, and the best part is it gets into the bone.
Wow.
So if you, yeah, it's super cool. I mean, because if you're doing manual lymphatic drainage with your hands, you can get into some visceral organs and you can get the lymph to move, but you're not going to affect the bone per se. Um, Vibration can really penetrate in and get
So the
that to move.
idea is getting the fascia to unravel, which in turn helps the nervous system, and things like the block therapy and the sound are getting deep enough to really get it to unravel.
Correct. It's yes. And the pressure. So between the pressure and the vibration, you're opening it all up.
Wow.
It's
And
cool.
like what happens during a vibrational lymph session that people might not even be aware of?
So in with sound bowls, there's body bowls that are made specifically to put on the body, and move along the entire body. Um, so, and then there's regular, what I would call like concert sound bowls. And you can have those placed all around the room. So you can get the whole room vibrating in sound, kind of like a sound bath,
Hmm.
while you're moving the bowls and getting that vibration to go down into the body to just shake up all the toxins and get everything to release. At the same time, it's also working on toning the vagus nerve, which is very important. The nervous system in general is it's really important. So people leave very, very relaxed. And tuning forks are also part of the sound. I have one tuning fork, it's really long. It's actually for lymph. And I'll move that gently over the top of the skull because you're not going to put a bowl on your head, right? So I'll use the fork going gently along the skull, and that just feels amazing.
Wow. And I'm actually really glad you brought up the vagus nerve. Can you talk a little bit about that for people that might not be familiar?
Well, just think of it as like your master tree root, right?
Hmm.
If you think of like a nice sturdy root that runs down through your head down into your gut and has an effect on many of your body's organs. If you think about that one master root, that would be the root that you would want to keep toned and calmed because chances are, we all live a very go, go, go life. That master root can start to get compressed and sort of twisted and strangled, right? This is just a visual for you to understand. When that happens, it affects all of your digestive functions and not to mention things that are going on up in the head.
Hmm.
So if you just think, well, I'm going to use sound to relax and I'm going to relax my vagus nerve, not even knowing what that is, um, it will start to work. And here's something really easy you can do for the vagus nerve. If you don't have any of these tools, just hum.
Hmm.
Because the vibration of humming, it's like it just goes down through your whole vagus nerve, through your head, down through into your belly. Just humming.
I love
It
that. I love that
it's
simple tip.
it's so simple.
You're
Yeah.
going to have everybody walking around humming.
Humming.
I love it though. And have you noticed emotional shifts in clients, like post sessions when you've worked with them? Like, or like that the physical flow begins to change? Like, what have you noticed?
Yeah, I have. And a lot of times when I do the sound, right, with the bowls and the gong, see, the gong is so special because it's a very deep, resonant sound. And it's actually supposed to like open up into portals. Um, it's the sound of the dragon, basically. And when it opens up into portals, I will actually get subconscious messages from the person on the table through the gong. And the gong, it's almost like talking to me and it will give me a message and then I'll tell the person and they'll usually resonate with it and be like, "Oh, how did you know that?" Like, "Wow." Or they won't know anything about it and I will just say that's the message that the gong wants to bring you. Because once you start messing around with sound, you are entering through portals, time and space, right? The vibration, it can clear the negativity from a room and bring in great clarity.
Mm,
It's amazing.
that's
And it's not
powerful.
something it's very powerful and it doesn't happen like in seconds, right? You have to imagine that if it's an hour session, we're preparing the body, we're gently moving into this before it starts to really before your body actually will just lets go. Most people come in and they're pent up and they're,
Hmm.
everything that took them to get to the appointment. So the first half of the session is done on the spine. The very first thing I do is start working the back of the body because I want the body to let go.
Mm. I love
So,
that. I have to try one of these
yeah,
with you. I haven't done this yet. Like, you have so
it's
many little,
amazing.
like, techniques and skills. I feel like I keep learning about new stuff, so I'll be your next person. Um, so so many people are living with, chronic stress without even realizing it. And maybe what are some subtle signs that the body is carrying a lot of stagnation that people might not realize or tension?
Well, the thing to realize is most people have stiff necks or tight jaws or tired eyes or achy joints, right? All of those things are blockages in the flow because the fascia is starting to constrict.
Mm,
And once you can let go of the constriction and get the flow going again, a lot of that can resolve. The issue is a lot of that comes from repetitive stress from our jobs. Uh, Sitting a lot, keyboarding, eyes on the screen, all of these things take us into a very intense, like a lot of intensity there. So you have to learn how to roll that back and let go of the intensity so that the fascia can let go. But if you don't take that time in your day to pay attention and just say, okay, where do I feel like I'm holding on? And take some deep breaths and just sit and feel your body, you'll find where you're holding on, and then you can do gentle movements, you can do gentle stretches. By the way, this can all be done in 5 minutes. You just have to give yourself that break.
which is really key, and a lot of people don't. So if
Yeah.
somebody's interested in this work, but maybe they don't know where to start, what might be like an easy, gentle access point for them?
All right, let's just say that. So if you wanted to do a remote work with me, we could do something called body talk. So body talk is a way to tap into your body's messages that you are not hearing on a physical level, a mental, emotional, or spiritual level. And when you tap in, and then your body actually tells us what direction it wants to go, that can help you sort out so many things. Um, Either a starting point for a project, or what do I do next for my health? Or I can't get over this trauma, or I keep feeling sad and I don't know why. Like you name it, the answers are in your body. That's where they live. We just have to access it. So, if you're a remote person, we could start with just a body talk session. If you're in the area, then I would say come on in and let's start either with sound or with the blocks. And if you're really remote and you don't want to do any of that, but you want to do the blocks, go to my link, which is goblocktherapy.com. You can order your blocks, you'll get starter videos, and you're on your own. And then what I've had some people do is they work through the videos, and then we do like a Zoom session. And I say,
Mhm.
okay, try this placement, try that placement, and I take them through it that way.
That's
So there's
great.
a lot of ways to get it done. Yeah.
How often do you recommend doing any of these modalities, like maybe per week? Is it as much as you can do it, or is there a range?
I think I think most of us are really busy. So what I do is I help the person figure out where are their targets. Meaning, are you a neck person? Are you a foot person? Maybe it's your knees, right? Where are you feeling like you're holding on the most? But every single person is a gut person.
Mm.
So I always say, let's work the gut with the block for at least 3 to 5 minutes, and then let's move to the neck for another maybe 5 to 8 minutes. It depends on how much time you have, But I will just stand on my block for like 5 minutes and open my feet up, and I feel like a new person.
It's
But I've
amazing.
been working on my feet for years, right? So you really need to figure out a program. And I think that's where like working with me could be helpful because
Mhm.
I can say, okay, how much time do you have? And then let's prioritize.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
And, like, what does staying regulated and in balance mean for you personally? Like, what kinds of things really help you? Obviously, I know the blocks but what does it look like for you?
um, honestly, and like I said, I've been doing this since I was a child. It's stillness. It's coming into a still point where you have no distraction. You're by yourself, whether you're in nature or I call it going to my cave. Um, I go into my sacred space, my room, it's my cave, and I'm just still. And I
Mm,
will sit with myself anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour. It
wow.
depends on it depends on what I need. And everyone should be doing this. They just can't pull themselves away from their distractions. And if you really think about it, I mean, this is what we are meant to do, to hear ourselves. And I find a lot of people, they don't want to go into stillness because they don't want to face their shit. Because when you go into stillness, all this stuff starts to bubble to the surface. And I will tell you, it's better that it bubbles to the surface than weighs down in your body because that's what starts to cause illness.
Mhm.
So I even have people that I give them things to do in their time of stillness.
Mm,
So that way, in the beginning, they're not going, okay, I'm just sitting here. What am I thinking about? Oh, I should be doing that. Or, oh, I'm thirsty. It's like all of these
yeah.
things start to happen.
Or their
So,
to-do lists or, like, things that are like, "What am I doing next? What am I doing next?" You know?
yeah. So there's things that I give you to do in the stillness so that you can gradually work into that place of just being present with yourself
I love that.
and your
And
yeah,
kind of just working their way into being able to be alone longer or quiet longer.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I guess what would be something you want people to take away from this conversation? If there was like 1 or 2 points, what would you want them to leave with?
Um, your body believes your mind, so watch your thoughts.
Mhm.
Um, your body follows your words and your behaviors. It has no choice. So if you want your body to be good to you or feel good, you have to think about the words that you speak, think about the things that you keep playing over and over in your mind, and look at your behaviors.
Yeah.
That's really the answer to all of our problems.
And being aware, I guess, how you feel when you're around situations or people and being connected enough to feel the difference in how your body shifts, when
Yeah.
it's maybe
Yeah.
in the presence of the news, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so how can people work with you? You explained a little bit, but if you could go into it.
You could send me an email at thermographyny@outlook.com. You could go to my website, which is thermographyny.com, and look at my services. You can call the office 212-838-8884, and we could just have a discover. I do discovery calls, like 15-minute chats, just to figure out what it is the person should or would want to do with me. So that's a good way to start.
And the coolest thing is that you do so many different things, which is kind of the way health should be, because you're sort of assessing what does this person actually need, which is really key for individualized healing. So, thank you so much for spending time with us and for sharing your incredible wealth of knowledge. Every time I talk to you, I literally learn something else. So, I know that everyone found your insight to be invaluable. And as a thank you for listening, everyone, I'm offering a special code just for podcast listeners. The code is Winter Reset for a discount on your spot for my February 28th retreat. There are 2 spots left. Thanks. And to all of our listeners, Tammy's information is going to be in the show notes as well as the code. So thank you all so, so much for listening. And again, Tammy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. It was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Okay, everyone, have a beautiful day.